You believe getting rid of clutter is only about getting rid of things. No, it's about having to face the weight of your past, your life story written in things, and the unbearable truth that time is moving forward whether you like it or not. Now, no one can assure you it's easy. Give up the things you don't need. Give it away, throw it away, or move on. But that's naive. The process of getting rid of stuff in your later years, you're not just a body. It's a psychological reckoning, and this act. It's true in 5 very harsh ways. That you are the only one who wants to hear. You need to know what everything you own is. It is more than just an object. It is a sign, a piece of your own history, a real-world examples of experiences, rememberings, and even parts of your who you are when you look around your house. You don't just see clothes or furniture. You can see the story of your life in keepsakes, seen in these things. And that's why getting rid of clutter in old age isn't just picking out things to keep. It's about facing what to keep and what to throw away. The truth that some chapters of your days are coming to an end, and that's a thought that was very hard to do. Think about the things you've gathered. The books on the shelf have been there for decades. Might help you remember what you know once looked for the person you were when you first. Tell them about the garage tools, might talk about the projects you built, the things that gave them a sense of you used to have in that old suit, or a dress you haven't worn in a long time, could be linked to a big event, like a wedding, a promotion, a party for who you were. At that point, these things don't just, they take up space and have emotional weight. Getting rid of clutter is not easy. It's not just about physical things about your identity. When you throw away and buy objecting, you are giving in to the fact that a part of your life is over, and that's okay. It's scary that it's not just the thing you're letting go of, the part you played, the past self, that you once needed that thing. If you lived your whole life as a business getting rid of old work, it can feel like saying goodbye to materials, to that part of yourself. If you were an artist, getting rid of old paintings or things you need may feel like an admission that you're no longer creative. Even giving up something as easy as some dishes can bring up strange things. Feelings, thoughts of family meals. It's a house that used to be full of for laughter and talk. This is why so many people don't like to clean up. It's not just about deciding it's about what stays and what goes. It's about facing time itself, seeing that the life you built is, the things that happen to you are not fixed. They grow, change, and some things will fade. But what many people don't understand is that holding on to time keeps moving no matter what. Forward, it only makes things more complicated, a heavy emotional and physical load. How to get through this process is being aware that who you are is not linked to your things. You're not your old books. They're worn out. Clothes or things you bought on trips taken many years ago. You are the one who embraced those times, and that will, no matter what you choose, don't change. To keep or throw away your worth, wisdom of your all of those memories are inside you, not in the things near you. When you get rid of the stuff, you're not losing. You are making room for parts of yourself to start the next part of your life. Clear and intentional events will happen. Letting go of things isn't just a matter of deciding what you don't want anymore, need. It's a battle of moods that often comes with a strong sense of guilt. Everything you think about throwing away tells a story, some happy, some are painful, but they're all important in their own way. And if you pick up an old gift, like a letter or a prized heirloom, is more than just a thing in your hands. It's a link to someone, a promise, reminder, a sign of a relationship that was important to the idea of. It can feel like a betrayal to throw it away, like letting go of the thing. You're letting go of the person or the memory. This is the reason so many people struggle to get rid of clutter, especially in old age. There's a big worry that by taking something out of your space, a gift from history is being erased, from a loved one who has died, isn't just, and it shows that they were here before, that they cared about you. A group of birthday cards, even ones from decades ago, makes you think of the people who used to thank you for taking the time to let them know you're in their lives. Getting rid of these things can feel like something you do to forget, as if you are not recognizing how important those relationships. But the truth is that things don't bring back the past. It doesn't keep someone alive. Not hold on to a moment in time guilt. There is another way to feel that it's a waste to get rid of something, or if someone is rude, you might look at you bought a fancy coat but never wore it. Feel bad that you didn't use it enough, or you may have learnt that as a child. It's not responsible to throw things away, that everything is worth something, and it's rude to throw something away. Resources that were used to make it, but a lot of people don't know this. But putting something off out of guilt doesn't work. Adding value to something that isn't being used in your home doesn't serve its purpose. It only takes up room and weighs on your mind. Another painful source of feeling guilty comes from thinking that you might. If you later regret your choice, you might think about what I'll do if I ever need this. If I get rid of it, and then all of a sudden, it makes me wish I could take it back, which can be paralyzing and make it almost not able to give up anything. But the truth be told, most of the things we hold on to out of fear rarely help us in what will happen if something has been left alone for years. The chances of not likely to need it again, and even if you can always find a way to change it out or move on without it. The how to get over your guilt. In getting rid of clutter means realizing that there is no way to store memories of love and respect in things. They are kept in you. The what other people do in your life is not lost when you let go of the things they left behind. By letting go things you don't need that you don't. By getting rid of your past, you make room for being present and letting yourself to have more peace and freedom in life. One of the worst truths I saw when getting rid of clutter later in life is that things you carefully saved in the hopes of give to your kids, or you might not want grandchildren for decades, that you may have held on to old things like furniture, books, collectibles, with the hope that one day they would have a spot in the home of that generation. But if someone doesn't care about you when it comes, or even flat-out refusal, the younger generations don't always agree on the same things. Having an attachment to things can make you feel it's important to treat it like a personal rejection, to understand that this isn't a picture of your worth or what your memories mean to you. Styles, tastes, and habits all change over time. Values that a lot of young people today like. They live by minimalism over sentimentality. In small spaces, you should move around more often, and most of the time, pick functionality over the heavy oak dining table brings back memories that used to be where family life began. Gatherings might not be seen as put a strain on the collection of china you treasured, might be seen as old-fashioned, or even too broken to live with today. The photo albums were carefully set up over. Things may not be the same with the years. For people who grew up with computers where screens store memories instead of scrapbooks, this can be it might be a very emotional experience. Feel like your history, your traditions, and even who you are being let go after all of these things, more than just the things they stand for: your life, what you've done, and relationships, but still holding on to the belief that you should cherish your things by the next generation can lead to too much disappointment and frustration. The truth is that the real gifts you leave behind are not in things, but in the lessons you've given, the kindness and love you've shown, you've given away, instead of holding on to things because they hope someone will want. They later think about having talks with your family. Now ask what they really care about and be ready to find answers that might surprise you. In a lot of the time, what they value most isn't, but not fancy things like furniture or jewelry, written letters with stories about their ancestors, or even a certain recipe that makes them think of There are more memories and connections at home, more important than any physical thing if some things are not wanted. Don't let that keep you from giving them a second chance. Many things can be given away elsewhere, sold or used for something else by someone who will I really appreciate them. It's far. It would be better to let them go into the world, where people will love and use them, instead of putting them away out of holding on to possessions out of duty that no one wants. Doesn't make them more valuable. It makes your letting go of emotional and physical burdens due to the hope that your family will keep everything you leave behind in high regard. When you free it, you can focus on what relationships that really matter to you. Health and the legacy you leave behind by the way you live, not the value of the things you own is not in your things. It's in the effect you have more. You focus on the people around you. The more you own, the harder life gets. Truth that most people don't see until the weight of things starts to weigh, getting in the way of daily life, what had felt like a source of comfort. You can get to everything you might need. In the end, becomes an issue for both mentally and physically. The weight of mess doesn't just take up room in your house, takes up room in your. Take a look in every drawer that's full of old papers, every wardrobe full of clothes that aren't being worn, every shelf full of forgotten trinkets. Everything needs your attention. Even if it's just over and in the background a long time, that builds up to stress feeling of being trapped and being tired. When your home is cluttered, even the things that are harder to find. An important document turns into a look through stacks of papers moving. Going through a crowded hall means being very careful to avoid things that no longer serve a purpose longer, because every surface is full of things that need to be cleaned up or set up, what used to be a space of. It's easy for comfort to feel like a weight, making a constant feeling of being overwhelmed. As people age, their bodies also start to fail them, are used when you bend down to reach the going up a ladder, to get to lower shelves, something from the storage, or just getting around furniture that doesn't. If it no longer fits, the space can become more and more difficult. What once felt treasures that are important to you can slowly piles of books become dangers. Old newspaper stacks that could cause you to trip, collect dust and make allergies worse. A house that used to be full of memories feels more and more like an obstacle course, and when it becomes hard to move, freedom starts to fade, but the clutter is heavy in more ways than one. It's psychologically, everything has a decide if it should stay or go. What if I need the mental one day? A lot of work to keep making these decisions makes people tired of making decisions, which being too busy to make decisions. When the surroundings are crowded, so our mind studies have shown that too much clutter can make you feel more anxious. Focus on and even help with feelings of depression. A place that is a mess makes it hard to feel at peace, wants order and feels safe when it's around too much stuff that's hard to find. Clarity, letting go of what's not needed. Having things isn't just about time. Cleaning up is about getting back space, both physically and mentally, a place to live. Fewer things make it easier to move around, faster to clean and more fun to use. I can see better and the air feels lighter, and the idea that life gets easier. Keeping things close makes you feel safe, is an illusion where real safety comes from being able to move around freely, to live without adding extra work, and to focus on what's important. Getting rid of clutter is lost. It's about making something new, a place that promotes health and happiness, ease of mind, and a better life to deal with. The less you have being heavy on you, the more freedom you in return for getting rid of clutter is often seen as a one-time thing that you do when you have time to do it, or time to go through everything you've built up over the years. But the truth isn't just one project. It's an ongoing process that needs to always making choices, and keeping up the thought that you can clean up once and to be done with it is a lie. Even more so in a world full of new keep coming into your life, whether you want them to or not. The truth is, the fact that if you don't manage when someone comes into your home, the mess will sometimes even faster than before. One of the main reasons why people have trouble with keeping a space clear of clutter is that they only care about getting rid of things. Don't change the habits that caused it to the build-up in the first place. Even if you clean up a whole room, won't stay that way unless you change it. How you deal with things you own. Going forward, this means Be careful about what you bring into your life and wondering if something really makes it better before getting it also means setting. Not only with yourself, but also sometimes with other people who give you things you don't need. One more hard truth is that decluttering is hard on the emotions, and that tiredness doesn't go away even though you're done cleaning. Taking up space and going through a lifetime of your things forces you to face remembering choices and even regrets from the past. It's hard on the mind to keep ask yourself if something should stay or go, and that makes a lot of people tired. Clutter makes people avoid things, which is why builds up again, because of having to handle it, needs a certain amount of emotional power that some people aren't always ready to. Tell us the only way to make it last. Making it a part of your routine rather than letting things pile up. An overwhelming number of people also don't think about how long it will take, what it takes to really clean up in a meaningful way. In this way, it's not enough to just take a few Saturday and Sunday hours to clean out a wardrobe. If you've spent decades setting things, it's going to take time to do them right, without rushing. The process often makes people feel bad about either from throwing things away too quickly or didn't keep too much, because you didn't be clear-headed enough to make the choices that are right. Recognizing that getting rid of clutter takes a long time gives you more ways to go about it, being patient and making decisions with purpose instead of speed being the last challenge. Takes that into account. Even after you've cleaned up, you'll have to keep going. Choosing where to put your things for the rest of your life, ideal ending point, where everything is settled down for good. Instead of seeing getting rid of clutter as a goal, it is better to think of it as a way of life, where you are always thinking about letting go of what doesn't really matter, and making an atmosphere that helps you live the life you want to live. The freedom that comes from not having a lot of stuff. Space isn't a one-time reward, it's a continual reward. Something that has to be kept up day after day. Pick your own.